For other folks that are like, I never redeem a Hyatt redemption under 3 cents per point, we're going to show you every single redemption option, what it looks like for every single rate across every single room. So it's one I think that we're excited about. And we think AI is at the core of that, where it would be like, what would it look like if there was a points hacker working around the clock for you 24/7 to figure out how do I make sure that all my loyalty programs are organized? How do I make sure they're not expiring? How do I understand when there's savings opportunities for me? How do I know when the price drops on something I've already booked? How do I compare cash versus points? And it would be like if that points hacker was working behind the scenes for you 24/7. So it's really marrying the experience that you have in the foreground with all the work that Gondola can do for you in the background that shapes what this might look like in the next couple of years here.
So the man in front of me is Skyler, and he is the co-founder of Gondola. And for those who are unaware, recently I did a whole video showcasing this insane travel portal called Gondola AI. It's kind of, I'm personally calling it like the website built dedicated for credit card points and miles people, to be honest. You can see right here, they have different points per night, and it actually calculates the cent per point depending on which program that you're using. It keeps track of all of your points and all of your credit card ecosystems, your airline ecosystems, your hotel ecosystems. I'm really excited for it. I really do think it's the future of our entire game, and that's why today I invited the co-founder Skyler here. So Skyler, thank you for being here. Thank you for just hanging out and talking some gondola today.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm stoked to hang out with you here. This should be a ton of fun. So happy to jam on some Gondola.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I just want to start off just by asking you exactly just who you are, how you got started with Gondola, and the entire mission. How did this all start for you?
Yeah, so I'm Skyler. I'm the co-founder of Gondola. We've been working on this business now for about 2 years. And previously, I was a points hacker and spent a little while points hacking my way through Central America. I had a girlfriend at the time who was in Michigan, and I was trying to figure out how do I fly back and forth as cheaply as possible for as long as
Mm.
possible. And so that was kind of my intro to where we started there. And then I built a consumer AI company that was in the fitness space. And during COVID, that was acquired by Peloton. And so I spent a little
Mm.
while at Peloton working on their AI team. And then really after things ended with COVID, I was super excited to get back to travel and figure out what does the future of AI and travel and AI in the loyalty space look like. And so that was
Hmm.
kind of where Gondola was born.
Interesting, interesting. And are you so you said co-founder? Do you have many other co-founders as well, or is it just you and a couple people, or?
Yeah, so we're a small team now. We're still, under 10 folks, but yeah, me
Hmm.
and my co-founder started about 2 years ago, and we started with a whole bunch of other different travel ideas, and the whole concept was, how is AI going to transform travel, and what does this look like? And that's really how we got started down this path, and happy to share a little bit more about those things. But yeah, that was kind of the genesis.
So I guess in your mind, as far as like you're saying, what does the future of travel look like, and how that's intertwined with like Gondola's mission? How do you see that? I guess viewing it from the lens of points of miles, hacker, as you say. How do you foresee that happening? For us travelers out and about.
Yeah, I think that's a super interesting question. It's one I think that we're excited about, and we think AI is at the core of that. We think it's
Hmm.
one of those things where the more that AI is able to understand you in the context of you as a traveler, who you are, what frequent travel programs you care about, where you've
Hmm.
been in the past, the preferences that you have and that you bring towards travel. We think that that is going to fundamentally transform what this looks like in the future. And then there's this other side of AI that we're excited about on the points and miles side that I think really connects here, where it would be like, what would it look like if there was a points hacker working around the clock for you 24/7 to figure out how do I make sure that all my loyalty programs are organized? How do I make sure they're not expiring? How do I understand when there's savings opportunities for me? How do I know when the price drops on something I've already booked? How do I compare cash versus points? And it would be like, if that points hacker was working behind the scenes for you 24/7, that's kind of one of the pictures of this, or the vision for this that we're excited about. So it's really marrying the experience that you have in the foreground with all the work that Gondola can do for you in the background that shapes what this might look like in the next couple of years here.
Interesting. That is very, very interesting because If you guys didn't watch that initial video, just so you know, just a quick, overview. Gondola, you can pay for hotels in cash. You can get like 3% back in Gondola cash. That's like a good benefit. But just being able to find hotels in your area that that you might be interested in booking. Okay, cool. But then also there's this other side of it, which is like a lot of us in this community, the credit card points and miles game, where if you have a certain amount of points, you can make these exact bookings. Like you want to stay at a Hyatt hotel at a Park Hyatt in Milan, and it's 45,000 points. Okay, great. You never even have to leave the platform. You can book with your points direct with the hotel, which is like the most revolutionary thing. Because usually, if you know sites like Seats.aero, what have you, or hotels.aero, here's the points. Okay, cool. Now go to Hyatt and book it. But with Gondola, you never have to do that. And again, this is not sponsored. We're just talking. I'm just excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, we're still in the first chapter of this in terms of where it evolves and where it goes from here. But I think you can absolutely imagine a world where you show up and you're wondering, where is the best Marriott location within 3 hours of Denver that I can go to with a family of four that has suites that's
Hmm,
sometime in July. And you've got this big open-ended query, and it's like, cool. Now there's going to be hundreds of searches that you need to go do to figure out what is the right answer to that
hmm,
question. And you say, I've also got Amex points, plus I've got Chase points. Should I be transferring either of those? You complicate that even further. And then what we're really excited about is AI that helps solve that problem. That goes and
hmm.
runs all those queries for you, summarizes all the results, brings that all back together and say, here's a couple of options that we think are great fits for you. And here's all the work that I did so that I can double click into it and see, what are all the different permutations, options, and ways that this trip could happen. So that's how we see
Hmm.
that evolving. And you'll start to see early pieces of that on the explore part of the gondola
Hmm.
side. And so we're super early on that, but that's kind of where the way or the direction that we see that evolving.
Yeah, I really like that Explorer. I'll show it on the screen now, but essentially you can type in just a couple of prompts, like you mentioned. Like, I think I did a test one, like, I don't know, Lake Como, view, rooftop pool, or something like that. But you said like a family of four. This particular, hotels that are specifically dedicated to people who have bigger families. There's more connecting rooms, stuff like that. So if AI can save all of that time, I mean, that's pretty impressive, to be honest. I guess one question I have that I think a lot of people who are watching who heard that are probably thinking like, well, on one hand, that's going to save a ton of time and especially bring a lot of like beginners in the points and miles game kind of up to speed and be able to do some advanced stuff as well. But then you have some advanced people that might be thinking like, well, if everyone could do it, then what's going to happen to our currencies and stuff? Do you think there's a possibility that AI makes things so easy that like I guess these redemptions and stuff become more devalued over time, or you think that's not really a thing?
Yeah, it's a super interesting question. I think that the next frontier of that is always moving. So I think that
Yeah.
that evolution of that space is always moving. And
Hmm.
so there is, even as we're able to kind of land these next features and product and evolve in that direction, I think there are so many unanswered questions still, and so many places where if you put in the time and you put in the effort, you can really get to a great deal. And so that's
Hmm.
one of the things I think that is cool about Gondola is we try to kind of meet you where you're at from a frequent traveler perspective. We have
Hmm.
folks that know nothing about points and miles and show up, and for them it's like green means good. When you see the green on the points and miles icon,
True.
that means you're getting a good point steal and you're in a good spot. For other folks that are like, I never redeem a Hyatt redemption under 3 cents per point, we're going to show you every single redemption option, what it looks like for every single rate across every single room. So we
Hmm.
try to kind of cater to both audiences there and help you understand, like, A, should you do it? And then B, what is the thing that I want to double click on to really understand the value of my points?
Absolutely, absolutely. And to your point, everything will move and shift over time. But like in the last 8 years, we have went from no credit card people to like millions now on YouTube. So like and I've only seen, well, annual fees get higher, but also welcome offers get higher and higher, and of course more devaluations over time. But eventually, there's always a new interesting sweet spot to find. Like there's always something new in this game that I found. So I love the overall mission. I love kind of what it stands for and just the functionality of it all. Can I ask you personally though? You said that you did some crazy like South American travels and stuff with your points of miles. Can you go into that a little bit? How you have you used points of miles in your own life? over time?
Yeah. Yeah, I was living in Honduras at the time and working on
Hmm.
a water treatment project and had a girlfriend in Michigan and was flying back and forth and trying to figure out how does a broke kid right out of college get back and forth, fly international travel back and forth. So I was churning all the credit cards, had maxed everything, had run through all the domestic programs. And
Mhm.
that was kind of how I lived for 18 months, was flying back and forth that way. And then more recently, that same girlfriend, it all ended up working out. We're married now. We did our honeymoon in New Zealand on points and miles as well. So
Hmm.
we're able to take a full trip out there, flights plus hotels. Got some amazing New Zealand Queenstown locations that we just had the best time on. So when
Hmm.
you have experiences like that, it's really eye opening, and just about how much value there is in this space, and the incredible doors that travel can or that travel can open for travelers. And so it's just really tremendous experiences.
I love it. I love it. And like you said, broke kid out of college, just so many folks. I've often said on camera, it's like living rich without having to be rich. So it's like you could travel all these places, and you don't have to necessarily be someone. You can kind of just get a lot of credit cards, put a lot of normal spend on it, get some points, learn how to do it, and
Yeah,
live.
and that was before there were any tools for it too, like that,
Mm,
that was back in the day, and there's no tools for it. And I had no idea, what kind of value I was actually getting, whether they were good redemptions or bad redemptions. You're just thrilled
mm.
to have a seat on the plane. And so like, as we said earlier, the space just like continues to evolve, and now there's just opportunity in so many different levels and thresholds to maximize that.
True, true. Yeah, growing up, you just, you got an economy ticket, and then and they give you a steak on the plane and a full bottle of water, something like that.
Yeah, and you're over the
Now you're
moon. You're stoked.
right, right. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so you're using that, and do you use like Gondola in your day to day bookings, like for hotels and stuff as well? Like how are you using that in your like normal like travel life and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we're a company that is dog fooding our own product. So we are a remote team. So we when we travel and we meet up together, we're all gondola for everything, for managing point balances, for managing our trips, for looking for savings, and then for booking the hotels for our team. And we're seeing that that's really a sweet spot for folks. Are people that are maybe able to book some travel on the work side and able to earn points on that. And then
Hmm.
they look to Gondola. It's like, cool, how do I max earnings on my work side? And then how do
Mm,
I spend those earnings in the most efficient way on the point side? So that kind of duality of Gondola is one of the places that I
hmm.
personally enjoy, where it's just like I'm going to max my hotel earnings. And then once I've earned on the work side, I'm going to go spend in the most efficient way possible.
I see. I see. And that's why I really love it. Like, if I'm being really candid, a lot of companies, they offer some great products, but oftentimes it's usually like this community, the travel community, that tries to like take the most advantage of it as possible. And usually it's at the detriment of the company. But Gondola, it's very much work with them to get all of the benefits, and it works both ways. Like you're to your point, you can book a hotel direct, like you said, cash or points, direct with a particular hotel. You get all of your base points, you get your status benefits, what credit card you're paying, you're getting multipliers on that. And then on top of that, 3% gondola cash, on all of these bookings. So it's like it's a win-win all the way around, and then you guys make money on the back end. Like most travel agencies, technically, they make a certain percentage on anybody can really do that. But you're passing a lot of those earnings off to the consumer just for using the product. I think that's absolutely amazing. In fact, a use case came up for this literally before this call. I told you off camera, but yesterday, for those of you who've been watching a little bit, I have a trip coming up to Italy, but I have to fly to JFK first to fly out there. And I found this one particular hotel. It's called the TWA Hotel, and it's been around for many years. And it's kind of an homage to the original airline company before it was bought out by American Airlines. But it's a really nice hotel right in the heart of JFK, and it would be close in terminal to where I have to fly out of. And reason being is it's pretty crazy because it has crazy views like this one, this rooftop pool where you can watch planes take off. And it has this particular room right here. Sorry, it's just going to scroll, but you can see the planes take off. The glass is super thick, so you never hear anything. And it's an insane experience. And I think it would be great to experience and have fun with. But one thing that I realized is that they only offer cash. Like it's not a part of Marriott, it's not a Hilton hotel, it's a cash only stay. So I thought about it. I was like, how could I somehow take advantage of like paying cash, not only just hit a welcome offer on a card, but take more advantage in some way. And the only way I could think of was Gondola, because I was like, wait a second, Gondola will give me 3% if I book through them. It's still direct, there's no difference. Let's see if it's on there. Sure enough, it's right here. Perfect pictures, the actual hotel, all of the different rooms, and I believe it was this one right here with runway views. So I would book this refundable rate direct with Gondola. And by booking them, where I once was going to get nothing, I'm now going to be getting some Gondola cash. And what's one thing I also realized, for those of you who are in the community, is Gondola also has a pretty cool referral program where I just realized that, for every person that you refer after they complete their first booking, at least for now, you'll be getting $50, and the person you refer will also get $50. So far, one of you guys actually booked a hotel, and it seems like a couple others. So I'm probably going to actually try to use some of these $50 to take advantage of this cast stay. But that's also, a great incentive again for everybody watching. If you're interested in signing up, it's down in the pinned comment below. And then, everyone can kind of prosper and kind of use Gondola for the future. So I just want to say that's pretty cool, like that use case, and this, now that it made me actually think even further, because I have some stays in Italy that I'm like, I booked through Hyatt because I wanted to just use some of my points, but I realized the cash rate is so low because they're like Mr. and Mrs. Smith properties that I would be better
Yeah.
off paying cash. So I was like, actually, I might just cancel those stays, save my points, and book it through Gondola, because at least I'll get some cash back and I'll still get, status benefits or what have you instead. So it's like I'm finding these use cases pretty organically for us. I'm not saying that just because you're in front of me, but I love it. I'm really enjoying it. So far. So very
That's
cool.
amazing. Yeah. And I'm thrilled to hear that and thrilled to see that. What's so cool about that is it's a direct booking, right? So you'll see the same price on the hotel website. You get the refundable rate after you book it. This, because it is refundable, we're able to monitor that rate for you. So we'll let you know if
Mm,
between now when you book and when you check in, the price drops and there's an opportunity to rebook and save there. So it's just another one of those ways that we're just kind of always working in the background for you and kind of always on trying to figure out how do we save you money and how do we create a better travel experience for you. Um,
Definitely, and I love that the room rate monitor. I mean, that's huge. I mean, the fact that it'll show like when it's lower and it'll let you know, and then now I wanted to ask, when it does that, like say it drops by $50 for some reason, will it won't automatically book me the new hotel, but it'll alert me, and then I can cancel and rebook. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's right. That's how it's currently set up here. And so you'll see on that trips page, there's the ability to set a threshold for the room rate monitor. And so you can
Mm,
set the threshold whatever you want, whether that's $5 or $100 or whatever. And when the price drops by that amount, we'll let you know, and then you can rebook and save. So we're still in the first chapter of this, and we're excited about what that looks like in the future, about things that can automate that process for you.
mm.
But right now, we make you aware of it.
Very cool. And I guess on that topic too, like future integrations, like where if you could talk whatever you can talk about, but so you said like maybe there might be something in the future where it'll like kind of auto do that for you. That might be very cool. Are there any other future integrations that, people would be excited to hear that are happening? Like that, I know you have a long laundry list of things to do, but any future things you're excited for?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a handful there that are top of mind, and really, what, like I said, we're in the early stages of this, so we're really excited to evolve this with folks in terms of what is
Mm,
the most important and what is the most impactful thing that we can bring to this frequent traveler community. But some of the things that are top of the list right now is we're about to add the flight rate monitoring as well. So for
mm,
domestic airlines, you'll start to see your flight rates being monitored as well. So you get the same savings opportunities that you get on the hotel side.
mm,
One of the things that comes up over and over that we're starting to kick off work around now is a mobile app. So we hear that from folks as well, that would be really nice to have on the go to organize their trips. Um, we get things like status tracking and organizing your free night certificates. Those are on our
mm.
list as well as things that'll be the next things that we'll start to tick off there. But really, we're at the very beginning in the early stages of what this product is going to evolve to look like. So we're kind of thrilled about where it's at today, and we think it's something that provides a lot of value right now, and something that's only going to continue to grow and provide more value over the coming months.
So that's cool if you could track that free nights. You think you'll be able to book free nights as well through the site? like the free night
Yeah, I think
certificates?
that's right. It'll be the same process through the on the points side. So that'll be something
Wow.
that you can absolutely do. And really, the goal too is help you understand when should you use a free night. Like, are you getting a good
Hmm.
value for that free night or not? And so we want to bring that same level of detail and break that down. And that's one of the things that's really interesting about this space is there are so many details, and the information is so dense around what you need to pay attention to and how you need to think about the problem. Our
Mm.
goal is to simplify that for you upfront, but also give you the area where you can like double click and see, okay, this is like the simple version of this. And the double click version is like, here's the full breakdown on why I should use a free night certificate versus why I
Mm.
should just use points or why I should use cash.
One thing I also wanted to get into with you is when I made that video, a few people made comments and a lot positive, a ton of positive, comments. But some people were a little wary about, I guess the process of, specifically the process of adding in your points and miles, ecosystem, your currency into Gondola, which means you have to, add your email address, one that would be associated with all of those programs. So like I put in my email address and then my Hilton auto populated, my Hyatt auto populated. But some people said like, privacy concerns or issues like giving that access to the company. So I kind of wanted to ask you your thoughts on that and if that's warranted at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of those things that is one of the magic moments about Gondola is with one click you can kind of go build your whole travel profile and have it put all of these things across your loyalty programs, your current trips, your past
Hmm.
stays, bring all those together for you in one place. So it's certainly something that is really powerful. And on the privacy and security side, that is the single most important thing for us as a company. And we try to build all of these features in the most privacy and security preserving way that we possibly can. So, a couple of examples on that. So, right now, we currently support Gmail and Outlook. And when you
Hmm.
sync with either of those email providers, Gondola is able to structure emails from domains that are very specific to travel senders. So you'll see domains like at Marriott.com, at United.com, and those domains only. And that's where this parsed data is coming from. So everything you see
Hmm.
on the Gondola dashboard is the only thing that is actually parsed from your email there.
Hmm.
And then what's interesting about it is because we're able to do it that way, and because we just convert it to structured data, we never store any emails. We never save any emails. There's never any of your personal information outside of what you see on
Hmm.
Gondola servers there. So the other piece I think that people think about sometimes is, like what about AI? And like, I don't want to share all my data with AI and with OpenAI and all of the big AI vendors of the world these days. And that's also something that's super top of mind for us. So we self-host all of our own infrastructure so that your data never leaves, Gondola hosted infrastructure. So we're never sharing it. It's never getting used for training other people's models, anything like
Hmm.
that. So, and I think maybe the last thing to end with is these email providers have also evolved their policies over the last couple of years. And I think for folks that are still concerned on that path, one thing to look at is the Gmail privileges and security settings that Gmail gives you. So once you sync with Gondola, if it's ever a concern for you, you can revoke those immediately through Gmail. You don't have to worry about what is some third party doing. Gmail gives you all of that access and those settings right up front as well. So they're just
Hmm.
a couple of the ways that we're thinking about this problem and how to keep your data the most secure and private that we possibly can.
Gotcha, gotcha. See, I didn't even know that it's only taking the info from like the frequent traveler emails, Marriott, at Marriott or something like that. Hmm.
Absolutely. So it's top of mind and could not be more important to us. And there's a real person on the other side of this who really cares about this. And it's one of the things that I really appreciate about you is you just kind of tell it exactly how it is there. And so that's how we see it, and that's how we think about it.
Much appreciated. So, as I've said a million times in this whole call, I'm very excited. How could people try for free? How do they? How could they sign up and explore Gondola and even give feedback if they need be?
Yeah, that process couldn't be any easier. They should use your referral link to start. So that's gondola.ai/venture. So that'll get you up to speed there. And then it couldn't be any easier. It's just a one-click sign up. It's free, and we're super excited about just being unapologetically pro traveler and pro you. So We're excited to welcome folks there with open arms. And when you've got feedback, please, once you sign up, you'll get my email address. Feel free to drop me a note or a line if there are things that folks see that they'd like us to work on. And we're super excited to evolve this with the points community together, because we still think we're in the first chapter of what this is going to look like. So we're really grateful there.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for your time, Skyler, today. If you guys are interested, right in the middle of us is going to be the original video of me just like being excited about Gondola and showing some of the use cases and stuff that I've looked into. So go check that out if you want to, real quick. And thank you all for being here to the end. I appreciate every single one of you. And Skyler, thanks again, sir.
Thank you. This is a ton of fun.